Welcome to Parker's MMA Show. If you want to learn about all things going down in the fight world, you've come to the right place. Each episode, your host Parker Keane will take a deeper dive into the always entertaining world of sanctioned fist fighting. Now here's your host, Parker Keane.
What's up?
What's up with the mustache?
Quarantine, baby. Gotta keep it fresh.
You got that quarantine stash. All right, everyone, welcome back. This is Parker's MMA Show. This is episode 32. This episode, we've got a very special guest coming on, Cass Bell, Bellator Bantamweight fighter. Billy, you want to give a little info on him?
Sure. Cass Bell, he's a 5-0 Bantamweight in Bellator. All 5 of his professional wins are in the Bellator cage. He's coming out of Humboldt, California. So, you know, kind of out in the country there in California a little bit, but definitely an exciting guy, exciting fighter, and looks like he's ready to take that leap with Bellator. So very excited to get to talk to him. There
Cass,
he is.
what's up, man?
Cass,
How are you?
Hey, what up? I'm good. How are you guys?
Awesome, brother. How are you hanging in down there in California?
Doing, just fine. It's been crazy, especially, with training and all that. But, it's just like a summer for us, I guess. The kids are home, and we're just, just trying to stay home.
Doing what you can do, huh?
Yeah.
All right.
Exactly.
So thanks for coming on. We appreciate it. Let's just jump right into it. So, yeah, that was going to be my first question. How's the training and how's life with the pandemic, life as a fighter dealing with this pandemic? What's it like?
Training's been super crazy. I'm still getting my training in, luckily, but it's different because I don't get to train with my team. I'm mostly training with my kids a lot. I get to beat them up. They get to beat me up. My son's 10 years old and my daughter's 8 years old. So they're getting the rear naked choke down pretty good. We have contests on who can tap me out first. So they get they get different tries. Usually it takes like the 6th try and then I'm finally tapping. But so, we're doing that. And then, with the training, what's different about that is obviously I don't get trained with all my guys, with all my teammates and stuff, but we definitely still do study groups and stuff and break down fights and talk a lot and watch videos and then drill whatever we can, but separately. I get to see my coach still sometimes. But besides that, it's definitely been crazy just trying to figure it all out.
Yeah, is the gym just kind of locked down right now? Is people just kind of training at home and
Yep, everybody's usually at home. I live right down the street from the gym, so I'm lucky enough to at least come here, and I do like a live workout video for the kids, for all my kids and stuff, so I'm able to do that as of now. But besides that, it's shut down. Like I'll come by and check on everything and make sure everything's good, and then lock it all up and go back home.
Very cool. So that leads me into the next question. What has been your thoughts on having fights during all this? I know the UFC has tried, last weekend, and then they're trying to push forward in May. What are your thoughts on, with everything going on, what should be the state of fighting right now?
I am a fighter and I love fighting, and I would love to fight. Like somebody hit me up, but like, hey, we have a fight. Obviously, I want to be safe as possible and not get anybody else sick. But I think as long as they're doing the testing and before and during the whole fight camp and everybody's honest, hey, somebody gets sick, they gotta be honest and say, hey, I'm sick, and back off, but or back out. But I don't know. I think it's good if there's if everybody's super cautious about it, and obviously the training is going to be different. You can't have a real fight camp, I don't believe, but still there's we're not going to lose our skills. We're going to be out of shape a little bit, but we can still run and shadow box and hit the bags and do whatever we can, Like I said, I'm training with my kids, it's different, but, I'm going to make it work. So, I'm going stir crazy just sitting at home a lot and not being able to, get physical or anything like that. Like I'm usually every day I'm training, or we're doing something every single day. So, but no, I think if everybody does it the right way and everybody's, really careful and, they have doctors, they do the testing, and hopefully they can find some more, figure out some other kind of testing to, see if we have it and then just, go by that.
So where is, I know that the UFC is trying to put on an event on May 9th. Where is Bellator in all of this? Because, I kind of assume once whoever is the first one to pull it off, the other organizations, the bigger ones, are going to be able to kind of just follow right along. So where is Bellator kind of at the moment?
So I just saw something today. I was going to try to find it right now that I know they're trying to do something in LA in the next couple months if they can. And it's going to be, nobody's, they're going to try to keep it under 50 people, who's running and working the whole thing. They're going to try to keep it small and obviously test everybody and test people right before you go in the cage, that day, like try to do a whole bunch of testing. So I'm definitely excited about that. But who knows, they don't know for sure if it's going to happen or not. Cause it could be shut down. California could, shut it all down, but I know they're trying to do something in LA if I read the article correctly.
Awesome. So, all right, let's move on past the pandemic talk here. Tell us a little bit about your background, kind of your early life and how you got into fighting.
Okay. So let's see, where should I start? I guess, I grew up, it was just me and my mom, and then I have my sisters, and I actually have a big family. There's 5 of us. If I remember correctly, there's a lot of us. I have 3 sisters and 2 brothers, and I'm the oldest one out of them. So I guess there's 6 of us, I guess, if I do the math right. And, but anyways, I grew up just, with my mom. My mom was a single parent, working, so she worked a lot. So it was, me being the big brother, taking care of everybody when she was working. And she was going to school and everything. She had me when she was 18, so she was super young. But anyways, skip forward a couple years. She wouldn't let me do she let me do all the sports besides football and wrestling. So she would never let me do, MMA or anything like that. It wasn't really MMA back then, was wide for the stream. But she wouldn't let me, big thing was no wrestling, no football. So of course that's what I wanted to do. So in 7th grade, my best friend's dad, who I looked up to as a dad, he signed me up for wrestling because I was always at their house all day, every day. And they just lived down the street. And so I'd go over their house and we'd be wrestling and stuff. And my best friend was wrestling like his whole, for a long time. And we'd be a good battle. He'd kick my butt a little bit, but for me not knowing anything, we'd still, do pretty good. So he's like, you know what, I'm going to get you for wrestling. And so he signed me up. So he would take me everywhere to go wrestling. We'd actually go to Oregon a lot, which is like 4-hour drive or something at least. We'd go down south, which is like a 6-7 hour drive to like San Francisco or farther. And every weekend we'd go down and wrestle. So my mom didn't know for 2 years that I was doing that. But when I was a freshman, when I was freshman, his name's Donnie Heron. Donnie was like, hey, I'm not going to sign the papers for you this year. You got to tell your mom, you got to get your mom on board. So I had to think of a, crazy plan. How am I going to do this? And I told her, hey, I'm going to wrestle. I kind of told her I'm going to do this, and she's like, all right, she signed the papers. So I did my, wrestling. She came in, checked it all out, and she's like, well, you're actually pretty good. And she was actually pretty excited about it. She thought wrestling was more, I guess, kind of like fighting, kind of, and just like really kind of just some, I don't know. She thought it was super crazy. I was going to get hurt or something like that. But she actually saw it wasn't as bad as she thought it was. And then a couple of years later, she actually got all my brothers and sisters wrestling. So they all were wrestling. They've all been wrestling. They've been kind of slacking lately, but they all started, like my older sisters, they started wrestling. They were really good. Yeah, they wrestled all through high school and everything. So that was, pretty cool. And then really, I wrestled all through high school at Arcata High. And I'm born and raised in Humboldt County. So I've lived here my whole life. And I started wrestling. So I started wrestling in 7th grade, wrestled all through all my high school season, freshman and senior year. And my junior year, I lost my coach. My coach had to stop working, which was he was Bert Van Duzer. He was the best coach in Humboldt County around, even farther than that. But unfortunately, he had to stop coaching. So my junior year, we had other coaches that were trying to coach. Nobody could really fit. We were high school kids, so we were bullies and being stupid. And if I could beat the coach, nobody else was listening to the coach. So that's how it kind of went. And I was only 120 pounds at the time. So we kind of ran out some coaches, and then finally we got a really good coach, Coach Ray, who was a football coach, but he He's this big guy who's like 230 pounds. No, we try to jump him so many times and couldn't beat him at all. He'd kick the crap out of us. And but we respected that, and he was honest with us too. From the very beginning, he's like, "Hey, I wrestled back in high school, but I'm not. You guys don't have a coach. You guys are not going to have a season, so I'm willing to step up and be your coach. But again, I haven't wrestled since high school. I'm a football coach, so I'm just here. So let's have some practice. Let's start running it. So we all respect him for that, and we started getting gear and started practicing, and then. And he was our coach my senior year, but it still wasn't the same, like I lost, my head coach Bert, and so that kind of I had big plans, my junior year was going to make it to state, and then my senior year was going to actually place at state, and unfortunately that didn't happen. I got my senior year, what was it? I placed 5th place at sections, and I was heartbroken because I thought it was over. I was like, man, my whole season's over. I wish I would have trained harder. I wish I would have done more. I wish I would have, so much more I would have done. And I lost it. And what sucks too is how I lost it was I was wrestling the first seed kid, the kid that was in first seed. And I was actually, I think I was ahead. I was ahead by 1 point. There's so many whistles going on. He shot, tried to take me down. I thought we were out of bounds. I heard the whistle. So I stopped, tried to go. He kept taking me down for 2 points. And now it's, I think it was 6-5 or whatever it was. Right. So now he's ahead. There's only 10 seconds left. I couldn't take him down. I lost, and it was over, so I was so close. And then my next match after that, I totally just lost. I couldn't beat the kid. The kid was really good, couldn't escape. And the kid was really good. I just couldn't, I don't know, my mindset was there or whatever it was. And I unfortunately lost. So I was definitely, upset about that. So then a couple of years, jump ahead. So I had some college opportunities to go to, I had some scholarships to go to college to wrestle, but, being young and not thinking, I was like, no, there's no way I could actually afford, cause I would still have to work, pay for my car payments and all this stuff and still work. And I started working at a young age. So I started working when I was 5th grade, probably. I started delivering the newspapers. And so I was a delivery boy, and then I worked at little restaurants here and there, worked at Tiffany's, which was arcade thing, just to raise some money. So I had some money and stuff so I could spend. So I had to raise my mom put all the money to rent and our clothes and everything else. But if I wanted anything extra, I had to go earn it. So I was always working. And then all through high school, I worked at the student store and worked up my junior or maybe my sophomore year, maybe it was my junior year, and I became the manager there. So I was running the store. So I was able to eat lunch and, eat whatever I wanted to and all that stuff. And then my senior year, I started working at the Arcata Co-op. That's a local store, all organic food. And it's just it's an awesome store to work at because you got discounts, you got all the best food to eat. And so anyway, so I started working there and I forget where I'm going with it, but, let's see. So I just worked a lot. So at the time, I was like, man, I'm going to have to work and I'm going to have to train all day, every day and still work. Yeah, I didn't have to pay for school, but I still had to do school and train and then also work to pay, for whatever else. And so at the time, I just didn't think I could do it. Now being older, I definitely could have. It wouldn't have been that big a deal, I think. I think I could have definitely done it. But being that young and just no, there's no way, I unfortunately turned that down. But so then fast forward, there was these fights at Sherry Heights Casino. That's the local casino here. And they were doing this tough man competition. So what you do is sign up and you fight multiple times in that night. So you fight one 3-minute round. And if you win, you go. It's a tournament style. So you fight again. And so I was like, hey, I'm going to do this. This sounds awesome. And I'm going to try this. And I was probably 21, 22 at the time. Maybe I was a little older, actually. Maybe it was
Were you
23.
training any MMA, or did you just kind of jump in as a wrestler?
Yeah. So just training, just wrestling. And I got in a whole bunch of fights when I was being young and dumb, being 21, fighting the college kids, being local and just going to all the parties and stuff and just fighting. That was the thing I loved to do. And so I thought, I was like, oh, I'm pretty tough. I think I could do it. So then my guy who I call my dad, Donnie, who was my best friend's dad at the time who got me wrestling, his kids were working out at this gym, 21 Grams gym. And I told him, hey, I'm going to do this tough man competition. He's like, oh, really? He's like, I know these two badass guys that are, you know, like so their knowledge is is crazy. They know so much things about the fight game and stuff. So I'm going to hook you up and get you in there with them and start training with them. So I was like, all right, cool. 3 months go by, still nothing. Donnie keeps begging my coach John Thompson and Josh Vert, hey, I got this kid. And he wants to fight. He's really serious. He's, this and that, and just started, kept talking me up. But took him forever. I kept, asking every day, hey, is there any word? Like, no, they're not taking it. They're not taking it. And then finally I got the call. It was like 2 weeks before the actual event was happening. And they're like, yep, come on in. So I came in, met Juan, met Josh Vert, and started training with them. And luckily Donnie was paying for for everything that I had, for my training and stuff, which was awesome. And so I started training, and I got my butt whooped. I met Juan, we started sparring and stuff. Juan just kicked the crap out of me, and just street fights and stuff, I thought it was pretty tough, but I had never really lost a fight unless I got jumped or something like that. Then that's a different story. And but he just kicked my butt, and I was like, what? This is awesome. And I just fell in love with it, kept showing up. And then I did my first event at the Share Heights, and I got second. I won my first one, which kind of sucked because it was one of my best friends, TJ Sinati, and we grew up wrestling each other. So he was in the same weight class as me, and we always had a battle for varsity and all that stuff. But he was the first one that had to fight. So I fought. Luckily, I won. And it was a tough fight, but it was definitely crazy fighting him. And then I had to fight this other guy who was a stud, Derek, and Bartley, and he's been cleaning up the whole West Coast of all these kind of fights. I guess they travel around and stuff, and I guess he's been like just tearing it up. So I had him. It went to a decision. It was only 3 rounds, 3 minute, 1 round, 3 minute a round. So it was like, so we just went and gave it all we got, and he beat me. So I got second, and I remember I was just like, oh man, that sucks. But Josh, he's like, hey man, we like what we saw. You have heart and everything, and we want you to keep training with us, so we're going to sponsor you. We're going to, keep coming to the gym. You just have to make a promise that you're going to show up on time and train. And that's what I did. I was like, heck yeah, I'll definitely do that. I've been here ever since now. So it's been like 8 years and I haven't left.
Man, that's awesome. Awesome. Billy, go ahead.
So Cass, you come from, Humboldt County, right? You have this whole story of training, and then, you get with Bellator, right? You make your pro debut with Bellator. How did that come about? And like, what do you think about Bellator as a route for a young fighter? We see a lot of guys who go the LFA or like regional route, or a lot of guys really desperate to get to the UFC. But, I think Bellator personally is a good route, and I just want to hear your take on that.
Yeah, no, so I'm super excited. So how, what we did, especially as an amateur, so my coaches from the beginning told me, hey, we're going to, you're going to train hard. We're going to train you like a professional, but we're not going to take no easy fights. We're going to take, we're going to fight, or we're going to, try to find the top, like it. So my first fight, it was in Portland. So we drove all the way to Portland, which is like a 9-hour drive from us. And it was my first fight. I was fighting Sean McNulty, who was, I think, 2-1 at the time, or 2-0, or 1-2, or something like that. And so went up there and we fought, and actually in front of Chael Sonnen, which was awesome. I didn't even know who that was at the time. Yeah, I didn't even know who he was at the time.
Wow. Was he putting on the event or something?
Yeah, yep. He was putting on the event, the Rosen at the Roseland Theater. And my daughter was actually barely walking. She actually walked into him, and she made him spill his beer all over him and stuff. But he was super cool. I didn't even know who it was until he said, hey, my name's Chael and all this stuff. Thanks for coming and all this stuff. I was like, oh, geez, all right. But he was actually super cool about it. And so anyways, I fought a tough opponent. I actually unfortunately lost my very first fight, my first real, MMA fight in the cage. And but my coaches were fine. Like, hey, you took an experienced fighter. You didn't get destroyed. It went all 3 rounds. And, you tested yourself. We got to see what you're made of. Went and fought another guy, Kevin Boehm, a couple months later. I forget his record, but he had some fights experience, and I beat him. And then after that, we kept pushing, going to the next stage, trying to look at the top fighters on Tapology and like see like where they're at. We'll start at number 10 that they rank and see if we can fight them. If we can't, we'll go down the next one.
Is that just like in your area? Like the amateur rankings in the area around California?
Yeah, in California, so everywhere. Because in Humboldt County, it's so hard at the time to find anybody like everybody has to travel to find some to get good experience and get some real fighters. We had to travel out of the area just because there wasn't that many gyms and maybe that many fighters at the time. So we started traveling everywhere. And then we just started fighting and taking fights every, couple weeks in or every month. I was fighting every month for like 3 times, but then I got injured and stuff. We realized, all right, we got to back off and, and heal the body as the body heal and start actually, training like a professional, like taking, some time off, healing and then getting back to it. But really which was awesome. And I hold my kids to it now. And everybody I talk to is that, they always made sure to push myself. They always made sure to find some tough opponents and really, go up against, the top guys in there and actually start fighting them. So I fought Justin Tenadora, who's actually my manager. His dad's my manager now. And Justin Tenadora actually fights in Bellator too. I think Justin was 2-0 at the time.
Is it Joe?
Yeah, Joe. Yep.
Man,
Joe,
he's awesome.
Tenadora.
He's freaking aggressive. He's always messaging me about fights and stuff.
Yep.
I love it. I love it.
Oh, yeah, he's a hustler. Yep.
Yeah.
And yeah, no, I love Joe. Yeah, this is where I'm at because of Joe too. Joe's part of the team and family. And so anyways, I fought his son, Justin, and it was a good fight. It was back and forth. Justin actually got a nice rear naked choke on me in the second round and almost went out. But my little stubborn, ass, I ain't going, I'm not tapping. So somehow I got out of it and then I got up on top and I actually choked him. But it was such a close fight. It was such a good fight. It was back and forth. It was exciting and stuff. But then after that, we, became friends. Not during, not right after the fight, but afterwards he hit me up and because the fans were going all crazy and stuff. The fans were definitely upset that some kid from some small town just beat, the Karate Kid. That was his nickname back then. But Justin was super cool about it and everything. He's like, man, that was a great fight. Or, hope he's the best. And then we became friends after that. And then a couple years go by, I fought for King of the Cage. I fought in Vegas in front of Dana White when I won the amateur world title for King of the Cage. And I met Dana White there. So that was awesome. And then, he told me just keep doing my thing. He'll give me a call, whenever I'm ready, whenever I'm ready or whatever. And then that was super exciting. So I kept training, kept working hard. And then a couple years go by, just a year go by. Justin Tenadora is in Bellator, right? Or is fighting for Bellator, and he's doing pretty good. And he actually is telling Bellator about me. He's like, hey, got this dude Cass. He'd be awesome, to join, to be part of the team and everything and fight for Bellator. And he's like, he kicked my butt, like he's a tough kid. So he threw my name out there. And then Joe hit me up too. He's like, hey, I think we want you on part of the team. And then that's kind of, how it happened. Joe, I gave him my word that I'll, train as hard as I can and I'll be a good, teammate. And they hit me up. Bellator hit me up. And hey, we want you to fight for us. They were showing us the contract and all that stuff, and we decided to let's do it. This is a dream. Let's go for it.
That's awesome, man. So tell us a little bit about your gym. It's 21 grams and then Institute of Combat, and I see on all over social media you coach there as well. Just tell us a little bit about that, and kind of how you balance the coaching aspect of it with the training and the fighting.
Okay, so like 21 grams gym, it's called 21 grams gym for a reason. It's the weight of your soul. A lot of people believe that there's like forget the doctor's name, but there are scientists. They say right before you pass away, right when you pass away, they say you lose the average is 21 grams. 21 grams of the weight. So that's like your soul leaving your body. A lot of people believe. So that's where Josh Burt got the name 21 grams. Cause you're giving your soul, you're dying in here. You're giving everything you got, in this gym. So it was, for me, it was awesome. Cause it was hard. the first day I ever showed up, it was like, this is some real stuff. Like, I never had this training before. I look back like, man, if I had this, if I knew like what they taught me now, if I had this back in high school and actually really lifted, because there's lifting, but lifting back in the day is just like, how much can you bench press and how much can you do this, not lifting. So like Josh Burt taught me so many things on how to actually lift correctly. So, and that's one of the reasons why I think I do so well now with my kids and all the kids I coach and everybody I've been coaching, because I teach them the same way. I teach them everything I've learned from 21 Grams Gym. And I'm, this is what I'm doing with all my kids. I'm teaching them how to actually lift properly and safely and form and all this crazy stuff. And then Institute of Combat, my coach, John Thompson, my head coach, he's the one that opened that up. And so he opened up Institute of Combat, and then we just started training. So there was another gym here before, and it was called North Coast Self-Defense Academy. They were here, and then 21 Grams, they shared the building together. And so eventually they split up and they got a new building. So they got a new building, so they went there. So we had all this open space. So John's like, hey, let's make our own academy. Let's start doing it. And so he asked me to help him out with it, and I was like, heck yeah. So he opened up Institute of Combat. We started training. We started doing inviting more people in. I started running the kid classes, so now I run all the kids classes. He runs the adult classes, and we've been building it's like, what we've been doing here is incredible. And I definitely can't thank Josh Burt, and then also my coach. And then I feel like with training wise, I live right down the street. So I live right down the street, so I get to come here all the time. Obviously, it's different now because of the shutdown and the virus and everything. But when everything's normal, I'm here every single day training. Even Sundays, I show up sometimes. But like they gave me the job where I get to coach the kids, I get to run the classes, and I get to be here all day, every day, which is awesome. So I get to be here with my kids, and my kids come train here, and then I get all the other all the other kids that are, we train wrestling, I do a self-defense class, and then we travel all over the West Coast, for a wrestling program. So
very cool. So
yeah, and then
like when you were growing up, was MMA even on your radar, or were you just playing all the other sports? Like, did you watch fighting, like any of the early Strikeforce events or anything like that, or not really? You just kind of fell into it?
Yep, just fell into it. What I was mostly watching was I think they're called Cry or something crazy. I don't know. They were just crazy guys walking around with video cameras, fighting each other and doing crazy stuff. And that's what I saw when, obviously my mom never knew that. I had to stick to my friend's house to watch. But yeah, so that's what I was watching. So I whoa, this is awesome. Backyard fights and everything like that. Kimbo Slice fighting, all that stuff. That's what I watched. My first fight I ever saw, in a cage, it was a UFC fight. It was Jose Aldo versus Uriah Faber. And that's the first fight I ever actually saw. And then I was hooked after that. I was like, what? This is awesome. They do this in the cage. And then I was stoked. So I always kind of wanted to do it, but I didn't know how to do it. There's no, I didn't know, especially here, there's nothing like these gyms that we have now today to do this.
Cass, you've given us a lot of great stories tonight, but one that Parker and I are just dying to know is what's up with the green hair? How did you decide to do it? And kind of why do you keep doing it, I guess?
Brilliant marketing, by the way.
Yep. Thank you. Yes, I'm glad
absolutely.
I stuck with it. And I love it because it just pops. It's I'm just happy with the decision that I made way back in the day to do it. So it was the first Sherry Heights fight. And I was like, man, I'm just this white kid with no tattoos, no nothing. I need to stand out. I need to pop out and just do something about it. Because I had big dreams. I want to be the top. I want to be the best. And I want to make it to the very top. I want the belts. And so, back then it was just what am I going to do to stand out? I got to be, what can I do? So I was thinking, you know what? I'm going to dye my hair. And I'm like, what color is my kid's favorite color? I asked him what his favorite color was. It's green. I always like green. Also, Humboldt County, we're the land of the green anyways, redwood trees everywhere. And everybody's heard of Humboldt County. So it was you know what? I'm going to, stand by my county. I'm going to go green. So the very first Sherry Heights fight, it was green. as bright as it is now, we finally got the color down. It took, 6 years to actually get the color perfect how I like it. But yeah, so that's how we went with it. So it's been green ever since. So every fight, it's been green. Even I took a fight on a 3-day notice, and I want to say I even dyed it then. I could be wrong, but I took a fight down in Sacramento, and I want to say I dyed it. I want to say it was green. I think
Call
we
the
did.
hairdresser. Like, I got 2 days. Let's go.
Oh, exactly. Yep, I had two different people that were doing it. I had Valerie, who was a hairdresser who did the colors and stuff, and then I had Lucinda, who was my one of my best friend's girlfriends. She did design, started doing designs in the back. So then I had both of them working together and doing all the designs. Now we got the hair color down. So now I still have Valerie still helping. She still helps. She still dyes the hair. And then I go down just so it's nice and fresh. I go down and find somebody wherever city I'm fighting at, like San Jose, and have them do some cool, design that they want to do.
And you got the green T-shirts everywhere. Y'all definitely represent. That was crazy. Yeah.
Exactly. And I got to give big credit to Noah, who's actually next door, Visual Concepts, that there's a lot of people asking, hey, can you make me a color black shirt? Can you make me a color, white shirt, this and that? And I was almost going to do it. But Noah was like, no, man, this is your color. You just keep it green and keep it that way. And everybody's still going to support you. Everything's going to still happen and stuff. And so I'm like, all right, cool. I'm just going to keep it green. And that's what I did, and I'm so glad I, stuck with it. Because now, once, late in San Jose, I'm able, after my fights, I'm able to jump up on the cage and see everybody. The green just pops. I can see everybody. I know Scott Coker sees everybody, and it's just, it's just awesome. And then what's cool too for me is I make sure afterwards to go say hi to everybody, especially everybody that came down there, because we're from Humboldt County. So I mean, I get 250 people to come down there, but they have to drive at least 6 hours just to go down there. And then they have to get a hotel room. They have to, dinner, family. You don't just get to drive back that night. So, everybody's spending a lot of money to go down there, watch me perform and do something I love to do. So I make sure to go out there and say hi to everybody, say thank you for coming out. I mean, Parker came all the way from Texas, right?
Yeah, hell yeah. That was something I noticed and I really appreciated. I mean, literally, you probably had 250 people at that fight in San Jose, and you made a point after the fight to go find everyone, shake everyone's hand, come down and sit with everyone. I thought that was really cool. And I have no idea how we got hooked up, but you came and said hi to me. I was like, all right, cool.
Yeah, well, I hit you up because I saw you made I think posted somewhere on social media that you wanted to go see the fight or something like that, or you're interested. So I interested in it. So I hit you up right away on social media and sent you a message. Hey,
I was like, I'm there. Let's go.
I got the best tickets front. Yep, front seats. You want to go, and that's how I met. Parker. I was like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, I want to go. I want to." I'm like, "What, really?" And then I met you right there. I remember jumping on the cage, celebrating, and I saw you right there, front row, just celebrating with your lady. So
yeah, that was awesome, man. Yeah, that was good times. All right, what else we got here? So, all right, you're 5-0 undefeated in Bellator. What do you see the next 4 or 5 years like for your career? What are your goals? What are you looking for?
Just keep going to the top. I want to fight the best. My next fight is Rafion Stotts. He's 13-1, and he's going to be my toughest fight yet. All my fighters have had, they're all in the same boat as me, 1-0 or had like 4 fights or so like that as a professional. So now this next step, so I'm 5-0. I'm fighting, Rafion Stotts. So I'm super excited for that one. He's a tough kid, a tough dude. He's actually my age. And I can't wait. He comes from a big camp, Rufus, what's his name? Something Rufus.
Duke Rufus.
Yeah, yes, exactly. Comes from his gym and stuff, so he gets to train with the Pettis' brother and stuff, and he's in there. So he's in with these real guys, and I believe I can hang it. I'm there at that level, if not more, or farther up in there. And I think it's going to be a good fight. I'm excited to really push myself and really make this a fight, because from the beginning I was trying to push. Hey, I want the best fighters. I want the best fighters. Obviously, when you're 0-0 as a pro and you're in Bellator, or, in the big promotions, you can't just get, somebody who has 20 fights. California won't even let you do that anyway. So they gave me the fights that they did, and now I'm at 5-0. So now I'm stoked I get to fight, somebody that's 13-1. So I can't wait. I'm super excited. Obviously this slows it down with my training and stuff. And, but still, I'll fight even, tomorrow if I have to, even if I had no training. I'm down and I'm confident in, my skills that I have what it takes to be the best.
I actually saw Raytheon fight in Legacy here in Dallas, and you're absolutely right. I mean, he's as tough a guy as they come. I think you guys are actually a really compelling stylistic matchup because I think the grappling is going to be insane. I'm really excited for that, so I'm excited to hear that, Cass. Parker and I talk a lot about actually this Bellator bantamweight division and kind of how this is, I think, sneakily, it's always been welterweight that's talked about with Bellator, but I think bantamweight is sneaky, really getting deep now with all the guys that they've added over the past few years. Taking yourself out of it, who do you think's champ when this is all said and done? Like after this year, let's say.
So let's see. So there's no champ right now. It's open because I'm so bad with names lately.
You can ask Billy. Billy's like an encyclopedia of MMA. He's got you.
Good. What's his name? Who fights for the other organization?
Horiguchi.
Kyoji Horiguchi.
Yeah, Horiguchi. Yep, Horiguchi.
Or just ask me. I'm the man.
Yeah, there we go. Because he had to get some knee surgery and stuff and recover for that. So he gave up the belt. So there's no belt right now. I know the Wolf. He's tough. He's fighting in the 145 tournament right now. He obviously lost to Horiguchi. I mean, shoot, there's Juan Archuleta. He's a beast.
He's one of my favorites. He's a freaking animal.
Yeah, no,
Juan Archuleta.
Yeah, he is. He just moves and doesn't stop moving. So I definitely think he's going to be up there. And then we got the younger Pettis brother, who's also now 135 fighting in there.
Yeah.
So those guys, I think those are the top two guys right there.
Another Duke Rufus guy for you.
Yeah.
Yep.
Sergio
Exactly.
Pettis.
Yep, exactly. And they're no joke. They're a good gym. They've, been to, the top of the top. So they're there for a reason. So there's definitely them. I know one of the Pitbull brothers is talking about going down to 135. So that's exciting. So, I mean, it's just, there's a whole bunch of killers in there. And luckily I'm the 5-0 guy from a small little county. So I'm just going to come up and swoop them from the backside. Just like, hey, here I am, come up. They won't even know I hit them. So I'm stoked. I'm excited with the competition that we have. There's Ricky Banderas. He's a tough dude. He's going to be an honor. I can't wait to fight him.
Dude, he starts James Gallagher in that. He had a vicious knockout against James Gallagher.
Oh, yeah, exactly. So I'm stoked. Like, I'd love to fight James Gallagher just because he has a big mouth and stuff and a lot of big fans and stuff. But I'm not even worried about James. I'm worried about these other guys. These are the guys that actually I wake up and want to, these are the guys I want to fight. They're going to wake, I'm going to wake up in the morning and actually, start training. So,
have you seen Patrick Mix out of, I think he's out of Jackson Wink. He's another bantamweight.
Yeah.
It's like,
exactly.
I look at all these guys too, and it's all a lot of jiu-jitsu guys, right? A lot of grapplers, a lot of jiu-jitsu guys. So that's what I'm excited about with this Bellator bantamweight division personally, Cass, is like, I don't watch MMA to watch guys punch each other in the face. I'd watch boxing. I like the wrestling. I like the grappling, right? So I think you put on some shows with these scrambles, if we ever get back to fighting again.
Yep, exactly. I can't wait. I'm so excited. And like you said, there's killers now. There's been some killers, but now it's really filling up the 35. I'm really hoping they do the tournament style, because that was going to give me the chance to get that belt, to give me a chance to fight for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. It'd be perfect. I'll be hopefully probably 8-0. I'm hoping by that time, by the time they actually come through with a 35 belt, and then that will give me the chance, because all these guys, I mean, all these guys, a lot of them have 22-1 or 22 and something, and they have 20 something fights. So for me to fight one of them, I mean, I really have to. I don't know what it's going to take, but it's going to take me a lot to fight these guys. So if there's a tournament, they have to fight me no matter what, as long as I win and I move on to the next part. So I really think that if they do the tournament, then they'll give me the step up to get in there and fight all these killers.
Awesome. So Cass, you've been at mixed martial arts for about 10 years. What are some of the biggest lessons that you've learned while training, and what are some of the lessons that you try to pass forward to the kids you're coaching and up and coming mixed martial artists?
So like the biggest thing I've learned, because I always thought you have to go hard. You have to go hard every single day and just kill yourself and get hurt and just take damage, take beatings and stuff. But my coaches here at Institute Combat, they've taught me so much. Like, you don't need to go hard every single day. You don't need to try to knock each other out and take all this brain damage and all these injuries and stuff. Heal up, take your time. You can't break your toys, they always say. You can't break, there's no reason to do that. And yourself and your body. Like, I'm 32, I'm going to be 33 tomorrow, actually.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Heck yeah, thank you. And but like with their knowledge and stuff, they taught me, hey, there's times to go hard, but there's most of the time you don't need to do that. Yeah, you could drill hard, you could wrestle hard, you could scramble, you can move fast and all this stuff, but there's no reason to throw all the power into it. No reason, and just have wars every single day. If you do that, you're going to have a short career. So that's what, I've been standing by ever since, even with the kids. The biggest thing, I think, why I'm such a good coach is because I will pull my kids right away. If they get injured, I will pull them out, even if it's a big tournament. I'll pull them out. I'm like, no, it's not worth it. You got hurt. We're going to, pull, I'm pulling you. And, I've done that with my son plenty of times. We trained for months for, last year for Reno Worlds and Rumble in Reno and all that stuff. And he got hurt. He was bridging. He has an awesome bridge. He'll bridge anybody off him because he's been bridging since he was 2. And but he was bridging too much, and he kinked his neck. That one of his opponents kept the right pressure on and kept kind of thumping him a little bit, and he hurt his neck. And I saw he wasn't moving. They stopped it. I was like, man, I gave him a chance. I was like, hey, are you okay? He's tough enough, though, which makes me proud, but I also have to be careful with him, that he's like, no, I want to keep wrestling. So I gave him a chance. I let him wrestle for like 10 seconds. I saw he wasn't moving well. I saw he was just kind of, wasn't right, so I pulled him. He was so mad at me, but I know when he's older, he's going to thank me. Like, hey, thank you, because now he's still able to wrestle. He's
How old's your oldest? How
10.
old's it? 10?
My daughter's 8. And
so they both train everything, jiu-jitsu, striking, everything. That's awesome.
So what I do. So my biggest thing is I don't want to burn out my kids.
Right.
All the kids that I coach, I don't want to. Because I grew up. Well, I didn't grow up in wrestling. I started wrestling in 7th grade,
right.
But I saw how parents push their kids so hard and everything. And I've seen so many kids, fall out their senior year, which they could have been good. So that's my biggest fear. I always fear about that. I don't want to push them too hard, but I want to push them hard enough where they're at that certain level and where they still like it. But it's a little hard. I think I found it, but it's going to change every time. Everybody changes. But like the biggest thing is, so like I train the kids like how I train. So whatever I do, I don't tell the kids to do something that I would never do. I'm on the mat with them. I'm wrestling with them. I know what they're going through. So with that, because I get trained, so it's like I understand what they're going through, and I see and I treat every kid as a puzzle piece. So no kid fits the same in this, fits the same. They all fit different, exactly. So I teach I teach everyone every little thing differently, however they work, and and it's been showing. Like the kids now, we go to these world tournaments and we dominate. We have champions now. I have national champions. I have all these kids coming up, and I have kids that never even wrestled before. And they're, placing at these tournaments, which is awesome. And I think it's, a big thing is because I get to, actually do what they're doing. And I understand when to pull back too. Like I'll push the kids, I'll put in everyone's separate, different stuff. I test them and see how much, okay, I can't push this kid this hard. He does better if I let him go his own route. This guy, he needs to be pushed. He needs to be like this. That's kind of how I was. If somebody told me what to do in wrestling, in a sport, I would listen to them. Outside, I was like, no, I ain't listen to you. But in sport, I would always listen to whoever was telling me what to do. So yeah.
Very cool. I've got 2 more questions and we'll get you out of here. We're already 45 minutes. But so do you watch fighting? Like, do you watch the UFC and Bellator? If so,
yep.
Who are some of your favorite current fighters to watch?
So let's see. So John Jones is one of the guys I like to watch. Obviously, he's been getting himself in trouble, but that's his thing. And but his fighting, is awesome. Like his style and stuff, it's genius. He's one of the best. So I watch him, and he's super long, just like I am. I'm tall and long for my weight class. So I watch a lot of stuff he does. I watch Cody No Love. He sits there in the pocket and bangs. So I like his style. I like Dominic Cruz because he's all over the place. He doesn't stop moving. I like T.J. Dillashaw. Not for what he does, has done in the past, but I like his style of fighting. And he just, moves all over the place. It's like Juan Archuleta. They're actually teammates. And, but I mean, exactly. So I love breaking down those guys' fights. Those are like the main, the top guys I really watch. I watch all their fights. Jose Aldo too is awesome. His movements and stuff, especially back in the day. And then like I'll watch, Wonder Boy. I love his kicks and stuff. That's where I was getting a lot of his kicks. My last fight in Hawaii, all I did was throw kicks. And really quick too is actually some fan's birthday was that day of the fight. And I asked him, well, what does he want to see? He said he wanted head kicks. So that's what I was like, I'm going to give you head kicks. And that's one of the reasons why I threw so many head kicks. So I was really trying to get that knockout with the head kicks. I'm like, I'm going to throw head kicks all day, baby.
That's awesome.
But those are like the guys I watch, in the UFC. And then with Bellator, I watch, Juan Archuleta. I watch all my guys, all my 135ers and 145ers. I watch them, see what they're doing. Because I know one day I'm going to fight them. I'm going to, fight all these guys. Either I go up a weight class or they come down to me, so I'm definitely watch them.
So do you have plans to bounce up to 145 or, maybe down the road or something or just?
Yep. After I win the 135 belt, I'll definitely go up to 145. The weight cut's not that bad for me anyways, to go down to 135. I bet I could make 125, which would be crazy. I'd be skinny as hell, but I could even make that, I think. But 135, 135, I like it where it's at. It's not too bad of a weight cut. Lately, every fight, it's getting better and easier and easier to make the cut. Like I didn't have to do no water cut that morning I wake up. I'm already on weight. So I just chill, wake up, take maybe a sip of water, and I'm good to go. Just wait for that time to go down there and make it. So I mean, it's easy cut. So 145. Once I decide to go 145, I'll definitely start bulking up and start hitting the weights, heavy. So I can at least fight with those guys. Those guys are like 170, 175. A lot of them fight down to 145. So for me, I walk around 152, 155 maybe right now because I've been kind of lazy and eating everything. But I mean,
we all have.
Yeah, exactly. My cardio is terrible, but yeah. So one day I would love to go down 145. I think I have the height advantage at 145 also, and so I mean, I would I definitely love to go up a weight class once I take the 135 group out of there.
Hell yeah. So me and Billy talk a lot about different issues that we see in MMA. A lot revolve around weight cutting or judging or open scoring. If there was one thing you could change about MMA judging rules, anything about MMA, what would it be?
The weight cutting. Like I do it easily. It's easy for me, but if we didn't have to cut weight, if there's a way to do it where we don't have to cut weight, that'd be awesome. It would be awesome because it does take a toll on the body. Luckily, I have the right nutritionist. I eat the right food, and I'm really, I'm really strict on when it's time to lose that weight. I try to do it as best I can, but it's still taking a toll on my body. And eventually too, I have all these kids that I'm training and they talk about they want to do it, especially my own kids. And I know how bad, weight cutting can be. And so hopefully they could change that, especially by the time they get there to that, they get away with the weight classes. Now, I don't know how it's going to work. Obviously you have to have weight classes, but there's some way that they find where your body is. It's so crazy though, because like my body can fluctuate from 148 to 155, easily. So, it's hard to figure it out. I don't know that, how they're going to do it. I know there's some organizations that do it, which is awesome, but there's still, cheating and stuff. I know people could get around it somehow, but it'd be awesome to find a way where it's just like, this is the weight that you're at. This is where you're, this is where you're going to fight at. And when you get older, it's harder to cut the weight too, so it's different with age too, you get a little heavier too. So then you have to go up a weight class and stuff where your body starts shutting down. So,
would you be in favor of hydration testing, kind of like they have in high school wrestling? where
Yeah.
they test, that you're hydrated as well as your weight?
Yeah, I think so. I think that would be good, but there's also ways around it. I mean, it'd be awesome to find like there's probably never going to be. You always find a way around anything,
Right.
but it would be awesome to find something that you couldn't do. Oh, and another big thing now that we're talking about is drug testing. I think everybody should get drug tested. And my biggest thing is if you get caught even one time, you should be done. They should have another, maybe not, maybe like a whole nother kind of organization that you could go to, or, one that, okay, same organization, whatever, but you could fight. This is who you're fighting. And
The
this
steroid division.
Exactly. Steroid division. Like, let it happen.
I'm down with that. Let's go.
Exactly. It'd be awesome. Like, all right, want to do it. But the guys that are, being legit and actually, really training and really, taking it seriously and not cheating at all, like let, us have the, let us have the chance too.
They have it in powerlifting, actually, like Olympic weightlifting. They have, like a clean division and then a division where you can be on steroids if you want to. And so they actually do. There is precedent for it in other sports, so it could be cool. I tend to agree with you that like there's definitely a place for it. I think there's a lot of the science on what the long-term effects are of certain drugs are kind of up in the air. We don't really know. But at the same time, you don't want to force people who are clean to have to do steroids. I mean, just to compete, which it's not fair to those guys. So
exactly.
I completely agree with you on that one. Split it up, have two divisions, and just call it a day. I think it would extend the career of some guys even who wanted to keep going, who couldn't do it anymore.
Yep, exactly. Like, who knows? Maybe when I'm 40 years old, I still want to fight, but maybe I'm going to need to take some tests or something, and keep it going.
Yeah, let's go. Hey, Cass,
the drugs will be better.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, Cass, one more thing. You touched on it a little bit. Your kids are interested in fighting. What if they do want to pursue fighting? What are your thoughts on that?
I'm good for it. I don't want them to fight until they're ready. Like, I don't like the biggest thing. Oh yeah, this is actually what I was going to get to before I totally forgot because I started talking. It's cool to actually talk to people,
Yeah, no. We all need it. It's crazy.
Exactly. But yeah, so like with them wanting to do it, I'm going to make sure they're ready for it, and I make sure to push them. So like with my kids, like the biggest thing, like, because I don't want them to burn out, I make sure my kids lose. Like, yeah, winning's awesome, but I make sure at this age, like, it's the best thing for them to lose. It keeps their head level, and it keeps the fire under them, keeps them training hard. And like, we'll go to these big tournaments, and I hear some people from other places, they're like, oh, you care about winning and stuff. Well, the kids win, but winning's awesome, but they also lose too. I make sure the exhibition after every tournament, if we can, find another kid. I'm searching like, oh, that kid's a little older, that kid's a little bit better, but I'm going to have them wrestle my kid or one of my students or my daughter.
That's kind of how you came up, yeah?
Exactly. Yeah. So I make sure to, push them at that level, and it just works. It keeps the fire under them. All these kids, I teach them, and the biggest thing is I teach them it's okay to lose. You're going to have so many downfalls in your life growing up. It's okay to lose. Everybody's going to lose. And it's totally fine, but it's what you do after you lose, how you pick yourself up and how to, how you keep training, how you keep pushing yourself, where, that's the best thing for you, especially at this age. We ain't going for no money, right? There's no money in this right now. So all these lessons that they're learning, I think is great for them. It's like the best thing for them.
Man, that's awesome. All right. Well, Cass, we really appreciate you coming on. We did about an hour there.
Nice.
We're some chatty Cathys. So any shout outs you want to give and let our fans and your fans kind of know where they can find you on all the social medias and everything?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely want to give a big shout out, to all my wrestling kids, all my students. I miss them dearly. I can't wait for this to get over with so we can get back to training. And I know we're usually gone every weekend. We're always doing something. So I know all the kids at home are, who's struggling and wanting to get outside and start playing around. Luckily, I get to see a lot of them, not personally, but on the phone and stuff, because I do my live little workout with them. So I at least get to see them and still like, hey, you're not doing that right. You got to do this right. Do this, do that, do that. So that's been awesome. And then also, my team, my Institute of Combat team, my coach, John Thompson, if he didn't put all the time he has into me, I definitely wouldn't be where I'm at today. Yeah, my manager, Joe Tandora, He's, he puts, also a lot of time into me. All my sponsors and stuff, Redwood Coast CBD water, they've been huge. I got Adventures Edge, who's been with me from the beginning. I have Next Level, who I get to do. they've been with me for a long time. They go to all my fights. Yeah, I think you probably even sat next to Eric. Yep, Eric's over there. And he's the Next Level guy. And I love his family. I got Human Truth Body Works, Jack Collins, who's been awesome. Any injuries I have, he fixes me. Like, he's one of the reasons who changed my whole thinking on, I used to be like, oh, I need to be tough. I need to tough this out. I'm hurt, but I got to keep going. Now I just go to him and like, hey, I'm hurt. He just fixes it like that. It's crazy.
It's awesome.
Who else I got? I got New Wave Realty. They're great. They have a huge family. They do the realty business. They've been with me for a while now. I got my other coach, Levi Cope. I've been missing him because he just is a banger. He just keeps coming forward, and he's an awesome guy. He goes to all my fights too. He's actually my corners. And pretty much, that's pretty much it. Everybody else I haven't seen, everybody else that supports me, and, all you guys as fans too. And thank you guys for having me on. I guess you guys can find me at on Facebook or Instagram. Facebook is Cass Bell, CASS, and then Bell, BELL, and then Instagram is Cass Bell MMA, and then you can find me on Twitter. But Twitter, I'm not really on. I'm barely on, but just hit me up.
All right, man. We appreciate you coming on. Appreciate your time, and we'll definitely have to get you on when all this craziness passes and we're back to fighting. Heck
yeah. Thank you guys so much.
All right, brother. Good luck and stay safe, okay?
Stotts, how about you come on the podcast?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. We can probably get him. He's super cool dude. I actually been talking to him here and there and stuff, just joking around, saying stuff. But I bet he would get on. I could probably even send him a message and tell him to get you on or get him on there.
We'll get both of you on. Let's go. We'll have a party.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah, we'll hype the fight up.
There we go.
Yeah. All right, brother. Well, stay safe. Thanks for coming on, and take care, okay? We'll talk to you soon.
Yeah. Thank you, guys.
All right, good
Thank you, Cass. Appreciate it.
Bye.
Yeah.
Thanks for listening to Parker's MMA Show. Take a moment to rate and review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, and visit ParkerKeansMMAShow.podbean.com for additional information on Parker and to stay up to date on the latest drama in the fight world. For more information and important links about today's episode, check out the show notes.